Hey there, I'm Elizabeth from Living Vibrantly. I'm a wellness coach. Hi! And my programs involve exercise and yoga. And she's just going to stay here with me. So, when people start yoga, they commonly complain that the wrists bother them. And so, I wanted to make this video to explain some of my top tips just to make it more tolerable for the wrists, so that you can minimize the pain so that you don't have to stop. The wrist pain definitely gets better with practice because the muscles of your hand and your wrist and your arms and just everything gets stronger with practice and, with use during exercise. So I want to make it possible for you to get through that pain and lessen the pain until you get stronger. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to mention to you is something you're going to see me break this rule right away, because I usually I do my practice out on our deck sometimes, but it's nice and quiet here to make this video, so I'm going to be showing you on carpet. And that's my first no-no. If you're having wrist pain, get off of the carpet, get onto a harder surface like a hardwood floor with obviously a yoga mat over it. But you'll understand why when I explain more, but that's just tip number one. Sometimes my wrists bother me when I'm practicing on carpet. So if you can get onto a harder surface, I recommend that. Okay, so number two is when you're thinking about downward facing dog, okay, I'm spreading my palm very wide. You know how to spread your palm, but I'm just showing you what I'm doing. So don't do downward facing dog in a high five position with the fingers together. Spread the palms. Anytime you're putting weight on your hand, with your hand on the floor, even push-ups, spread the fingers and then distribute your weight as evenly across the whole hand as you can. So, not just, people have wrist pain when the weight is concentrated at the base of the hand, right, at the wrist joint. So anything you can do to bring more weight to the bones at the base of your fingers or to the fingers themselves, that's going to help take some of the pressure off of the area that hurts. Now, if you want to get a little more sophisticated about it, think about your foot. Okay, when you press your foot on the ground, a healthy foot doesn't have the whole bottom surface of the foot touching down. There's an arch, and that's part of what enables your foot to bear so much weight safely. The bones form an arch, and that arch has a lot of power to hold and distribute weight. So I want you to think about your hand that way too, that it's not that the whole palm is smacking down on the floor like a suction cup. We'll come back to the suction cup metaphor, but but I hope this isn't too distracting. I think it's kind of fun because we're dog sitting, so she's usually not here. But so anyway, suction cup. So when you press a suction cup into place, it gets its power because it's pulling back and it creates a vacuum. So I want you to think about creating a vacuum seal with your hand on the floor. And the way that works is, you can try this along with me, spread your fingers, place the whole hand down on the floor, distribute the weight evenly across all of the bones, all the way out to the tips of the fingers. And then, so you're not moving the position of anything on the floor, it's the action that's changing. Draw the fingers closer together. Press your fingers down and they're still spread wide, but from that position, draw them closer together. Does that make sense? So your fingers are still spread, it's just you're activating all of those muscles. So that's your suction cup. And if you have that action of the muscles drawing together, it gives a slight lift of the bones of your hand off of the floor, and that lift carries all the way up into your shoulder. If you're in downward facing dog, it moves up your back. But that lift counteracts the weight of your body pressing down onto your hand. And then the very last thing that I'm going to mention is the use of your legs. In downward facing dog and other poses, the more you can use your legs, the more weight it's going to take off of your hands. So I'm just going to show, if I do downward facing dog like this with all my weight pressing in my hands, I can feel that pressure in my wrists pretty quickly. But if I do my suction cup action, press the bones of the hands down, draw the fingers together while spreading them, already you can see my shoulders open more. So now I'm going to lift my hips up high and press my legs back as I take my heels toward the floor. There's a really strong action of pressing the legs that has to happen, and it brings a really intense opening on the backs of the thighs. So it's something that you have to work on. You know, maybe you can only do this pose for a brief time and then you come out and you come back to it. But the more you can work your legs, it's going to take pressure off of your wrists. So I do recommend you keep going. You know, don't stop just because you're having a little wrist pain. If it's really intense, of course, that's different. But we hope with all of these tweaks that it won't be really intense for you. If you watched this video, if it was helpful, I would love for you to comment below and tell me that. And Tully and I want to thank you for watching.